To walk through this world as an INFJ is to live with a heart that feels like an ancient, unspoken language. They are often described as old souls wandering through a modern, noisy landscape with a quiet sense of purpose, driven by deep ideals, sharp intuition, and a relentless search for true meaning. But underneath this calm and compassionate exterior lies a profound state of emotional defense. They are guarded, incredibly cautious, and carry the quiet, lingering ache of rarely being truly understood by the people around them. For an INFJ, love is never a casual game. It is not about passing the time, and it is certainly not about merely testing the waters. Love, for them, is something deeply sacred. So, when they finally cross paths with someone who reaches into the depths and actually understands their soul, it does not just change their relationship status. It shocks their entire system, sending ripples through every single layer of their existence. To most of the world, love is often defined by companionship, shared routines, or fleeting physical attraction. But to the INFJ, love is a full-body, full-soul immersion. It is the breathtaking act of allowing someone to cross the bridge into their inner sanctuary, a place no one else is ever permitted to see. It is the sudden, beautiful collapse of fortress walls they did not even realize they had built so high. Much like a historic palace that has stood stoically through decades of harsh winters and historical storms, their heart has been fortified by survival. When that right person arrives, the gates open. That exact moment when the realization sets in is deeply beautiful, yet utterly terrifying. This kind of profound connection is exceptionally rare. INFJs spend years, sometimes decades, carefully preserving their energy, actively avoiding shallow interactions, and quietly dreaming of a person whose very presence will finally feel like coming home. When that person finally appears, the earth beneath the INFJ begins to shift in powerful, sometimes shocking ways. We are going to explore the 6 profound transformations that happen when an INFJ finally finds the one. These changes are not subtle whispers. They are loud, undeniable shifts that echo through their emotional, mental, spiritual, and even physical being. Some of these awakenings might surprise you, and to the INFJ experiencing them, they may even feel wildly uncomfortable at first. But each and every one of these changes reveals just how magnificently love alters the landscape of their guarded heart. Let us journey into the depths of what really happens when an INFJ meets the soul that changes absolutely everything. The first profound shift is the dropping of the masks. INFJs are absolute masters at pretending to be fine. They have survived by reading the room, absorbing the expectations of society, and molding themselves to keep the peace. They know exactly how to smile warmly through intense discomfort, how to nod in agreement when their soul disagrees, and how to show up for others even when they are quietly breaking inside. This survival mechanism is deeply ingrained, much like the silent resilience of a people who have endured generations of hardship and learned to carry their burdens with a quiet, uncomplaining grace. But underneath all of that polite adaptation is a desperate, burning longing to just be real. When they meet the one, the heavy, exhausting armor finally begins to crack. For the very first time, the INFJ begins to feel truly safe. This safety does not come from the illusion that everything in life is perfect, but from the overwhelming realization that they are finally seen. Not just judged by their actions or their carefully chosen words, but recognized for their pure essence. This emotional safety triggers something incredibly rare. They start to unmask. They begin to speak with raw honesty about their complex emotions, their lingering fears, and their complicated past. They stop filtering their profound thoughts simply to keep the waters calm. Instead of constantly managing the relationship like a carefully rehearsed performance, they step off the stage and begin participating in life with unfiltered vulnerability. For the heavily guarded INFJ, this exposure feels like standing in the middle of a torrential storm without an umbrella. It leaves them feeling painfully exposed and fragile, yet it is the most liberating experience of their life. Letting someone in completely goes against every defense mechanism they have spent a lifetime building. It demands that they place immense trust, not only in their partner, but in themselves. They must trust their own worth, their own voice, and their fundamental right to be known. Slowly, they reveal the silly side, the irrationally angry side, and the deeply broken parts they have worked so tirelessly to conceal. They do not do this casually. They do it because true love has made the act of hiding completely unnecessary. Once this deep emotional safety is established, they become grounded, highly expressive, and beautifully affectionate. The second shocking reality is that their already vivid emotional world becomes exponentially more intense. Even in solitude, an INFJ feels the world deeply. Their emotional spectrum is vast and incredibly complex. But when they find their true counterpart, everything amplifies. Their emotions do not just grow deeper, they become wonderfully, terrifically loud. This sudden shift often catches them completely off guard. Love serves as an awakening, resurrecting feelings they had carefully buried under years of logic and emotional distance. Suddenly, pure joy feels blindingly bright. Old pain cuts a little deeper. The simple longing for their partner becomes a heavy, physical sensation in their chest. Even the most ordinary moments, like a quiet conversation across a softly lit room, carry a weight of meaning that is nearly impossible to articulate. This heightened state is both a magnificent blessing and a heavy burden. On one side, they feel more intensely alive than they ever thought possible. They care with a depth that is deeply moving. But on the flip side, their sensitivity goes into overdrive. A minor disagreement can briefly feel like the end of the world. A fleeting moment of emotional distance can trigger a deep-seated fear of abandonment. Every single inflection in a voice, every choice of word, and every passing glance matters immensely. It is as though the volume knob on their entire existence has been turned all the way up. This emotional undercurrent shares a quiet similarity to the cultural concept of a deep collective sorrow and profound resilience intertwined, an intense emotional core that makes both suffering and love feel monumental. This amplification bleeds into their every thought and dream. The INFJ's mind transforms into an endless, running dialogue about what this connection means, where the future is heading, and the sheer magnitude of their feelings. Sleep may become elusive, and focusing on mundane tasks becomes a daily challenge, but the invisible thread connecting them to their partner only grows thicker. While the outside world might view this intensity as overwhelming, for the INFJ, it is the ultimate proof of trust. It proves they are finally allowing themselves to be fully present. The guarded, quiet heart of the INFJ transforms into a brilliantly warm wildfire, controlled and sustained only by the absolute trust they place in the one they love. The third incredible transformation is their absolute rejection of convenience in favor of shared values. When an INFJ finds the one, taking the easy road loses all its appeal. They have zero interest in a love that is merely comfortable or convenient. They are entirely focused on what is real, enduring, and profound. For an INFJ, a lifelong connection must be built upon a bedrock of shared purpose, moral alignment, and deep emotional resonance. If these foundational elements are missing, even the most aesthetically pleasing or comfortable relationship will inevitably crumble in their eyes. While many people focus on surface-level chemistry or sharing the same hobbies, the INFJ's gaze pierces straight through the surface. They begin asking the hardest, most vital questions. How does this person treat those who cannot do anything for them? Do their daily actions seamlessly align with their spoken words? Does this partnership inspire mutual elevation and personal growth? If the answers fall short, an INFJ possesses the immense willpower to walk away from a seemingly perfect situation. But when the answers align with their soul, a miracle occurs. Much like a war-torn nation rising from the ashes, transforming a barren riverbank into a gleaming beacon of prosperity, through sheer dedication and a unified vision, the INFJ commits to building a miraculous future. They commit not just to the person, but to the shared mission that organically blossoms between two souls moving in the exact same direction. This unwavering dedication to shared values dictates every dynamic of the relationship. Casual chatter transforms into profound exploration of the universe. Decisions are no longer made based on what is merely comfortable, but on what is fundamentally right. The INFJ is no longer just seeking temporary happiness. They are meticulously constructing a legacy of integrity. This journey will inevitably require difficult, deeply vulnerable conversations. It may demand the complete restructuring of old life habits, but the INFJ does this willingly Because love grants them a fierce courage. They become incredibly vocal about their moral stances, their spiritual beliefs, and their emotional boundaries. They want their partner to witness the fire in their soul that burns for truth and fairness, forging an unbreakable alliance. The fourth beautiful reality is their unreserved investment in both personal and relational growth. When the INFJ knows deep in their bones they have found their home, a powerful switch flips inside their mind. They do not just want a static romance. They desire constant, beautiful evolution, and they are fully prepared to do the heavy lifting required. INFJs naturally spend an enormous amount of time analyzing their own behaviors. But when true love anchors them, this self-reflection transforms into actionable growth. They confront their deepest flaws with radical honesty. They become remarkably receptive to gentle feedback. They push themselves to heal old childhood wounds because they view this relationship as a sacred temple that deserves the absolute best version of who they can be. This is never born out of a fear of losing their partner, but rather out of a magnificent hope for the future. They become dedicated students of human connection. They will read, observe, and tirelessly explore new ways to improve communication and navigate emotional turbulence. They refuse to be trapped in generational cycles of poor communication or silent resentment. During moments of conflict, they do not pull away or fight to win. They lean in closely. They seek to unearth the root cause of the misunderstanding. Their ultimate goal is always true emotional restoration, not just a quick apology to end the argument. While this level of intense emotional labor can be demanding, for the right partner, it forms a foundation that is utterly indestructible. The fifth profound change is the fading away of their lifelong fear of rejection and misunderstanding. Throughout their lives, INFJs carry the heavy luggage of feeling like a perpetual outsider. They are the emotional refugees of the world, constantly observing, constantly caring, but always feeling like they belong nowhere. They are deeply accustomed to their intentions being misread or their complex thoughts being entirely overlooked. Because of this, they learn to hoard the best parts of themselves in secret, a necessary act of self-preservation. But as they spend more time in the presence of the one, the icy grip of this lifelong anxiety begins to melt. They test the waters slowly, sharing a slightly weird thought here, a heavy truth there. When these fragile, hidden pieces of their soul are met with gentle curiosity and unconditional warmth instead of judgment, a massive paradigm shift occurs. The INFJ's perpetually tense shoulders finally drop. Their shallow, anxious breathing deepens and softens. In the empty space where fear used to reside, a beautiful, enduring trust takes root. This trust does not magically erase decades of conditioning overnight. A sliver of caution will always remain in their quiet hearts, but slowly, steadily, their nervous system begins to absorb a new truth. They realize, I am safe here. This person truly values me. I no longer have to perform to earn my place. The sixth and perhaps most beautiful change is the overwhelming experience of deep peace and absolute belonging. For a majority of their existence, the INFJ carries a quiet, dull ache, a subtle, persistent feeling of homesickness, even when they are standing in their own living room. It is the emotional gap between existing in the world and being truly seen by it. But when the right soul wraps around theirs, that gap closes. Suddenly, they feel a sensation that is profoundly rare to them, total, unconditional peace. This is not the superficial happiness of a fun date night. It is a bone-deep sanctuary. It shares the beautiful essence of Jong, that invisible, silent, and unbreakable bond of affection and loyalty that ties two hearts together against all odds. This majestic sense of belonging does not announce itself with grand fireworks. It arrives in the softest, quietest moments. It is in the way their partner remembers how they take their coffee, the way hours of conversation flow like a gentle river, and the way silence between them feels like a warm blanket rather than an awkward void. The INFJ finally stops bracing for the inevitable disappointment. They stop preparing their heart for the sudden departure of love. They just exist, freely and completely. Their once frantic, overthinking mind quiets down. Their restless energy is replaced by a steady, grounded calmness. They realize they no longer have to twist themselves to fit into spaces where they do not belong, because they have finally found the one place designed perfectly for their soul. When an INFJ finds the one, love ceases to be a mere emotion. It becomes a transformative mirror, a wise guide, and the ultimate resting place for a weary traveler. They drop their heavy mask. They embrace the terrifying intensity of their feelings. They build a future on unshakable values, and they finally let go of the fear of being truly known. If you are an old soul who has found this profound sanctuary, hold it gently, for it is the most precious gift in the universe. If you are still walking through the mist, searching for that light, please do not lose hope. Your incredible depth, your piercing honesty, and your brilliantly sensitive heart are not too much. They are the exact, perfect answer to the prayer of the one who is meant to find you. May you always walk in grace, and may your heart always find its way home.